Hi guys!
And welcome back to another episode of To My Younger Self,
the #1 support network for students and graduates.
made by young people for young people.
It's Alicia here.
And it's your girl Praise.
And Valentine's is coming. Where's your boyfriend?
We are here with a Valentine special!
Do you want to address the elephant in the room?
Oh, yeah, elephant in the room. I'm not sure if it's obvious, but for our visual watchers here over on YouTube, we are in a different studio today. Obviously it's a special episode, so we thought let's switch it up with another special space, and you might see it again.
Yeah, you might.
On some occasion if we, need a little switcheroo.
Yeah,
but for now
we've got options.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't always expect, expect the unexpected.
Yeah,
and that's what we've
always got like plot twists, like different things up our sleeves.
Exactly that.
But we'll be back at our normal studio. But yeah, like you said, you might see us here again in the future.
Exactly.
But I am super excited for today's episode of you.
I am.
I love our solo episodes, and I also love our special ones.
No, true. I always like our episodes where we sit together.
Yeah, I know. It's because you love me so much.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
Which fits nicely because love is in the air in today's episode.
Exactly. And the time we're uploading this, Valentine's Day is actually coming up, so it's in 4 days.
Scary.
So it's quite scary. It's cute.
Okay.
But anyways, let's get straight into another episode. So we're gonna start with the vibe of the week. And have you thought about yours?
Thinking on the spot because I've got a few. Yes, I've got one. Oh, I've got one.
I've got mine too. So I'm happy to go first.
You go first.
So my vibe of the week, in theme of love is in the air, we've got my favourite movie, which is called 10 Things I Hate About You.
I love that film. Love.
It's literally my favourite film.
So good.
And I'm gonna watch it this weekend. Like, I'm gonna watch it this weekend and just have a super cozy night.
What I love about 10 Things I Hate About You is all the music. I think the music is great, and I just love like Kat as well. She's not like your stereotypical like rom-com lead.
Heath Ledger, may he rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
I just loved that film. Like it's just my favourite thing. So if you guys haven't watched it, I'd really recommend watching.
Definitely.
And
10 Things I Hate
10 Things I Hate About You. Sorry, the lights in my eyes, and I'm like...
Stage fright. So I've got two, which is a bit cheeky, but it's also similar, like in the theme of romance. So firstly is a series that I just completed. It's called Normal People. Have you heard of it?
You mentioned it to me.
Yeah, spoke about it with you. So it's on BBC iPlayer. I recommend everybody to watch it. And if you're into romance, you will absolutely love this show. It basically follows the story of two people that met, like a girl and boy that met at school, and it follows their romance over 10 years in the space of like 11 episodes.
That's really cute.
Yeah, it's really cute, and it's also like nice because it's a quick watch as well. But the reason I really liked Normal People is because it really like redefines the genre of romance, because I think the issue with romance films is that it really romanticizes everything, and it's extremely unrealistic Hollywood a lot of the time. Like, it's not real life. Like, as much as I love Bridget Jones and all of these things, it sometimes can give you like an unreal expectation of what love is like. And I think with Normal People, it's really is like in the title, it's very normal. Like, it shows you like the real life, like ups and downs of a relationship that would happen. And even the way it ends, not giving any spoilers, like it's just not like dramatized. And it is a British show as well, which I quite like it's set in Ireland. So I think that also like adds to like the authenticity of like the British/Europe experience.
Were you happy with the ending of it?
Yeah, I was. I think some people weren't, but it's just like, it was just realistic. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, that's good then. I'll give it a watch.
I think you would like it. I think it's really good. I want to read the novel as well now. And then my second recommendation is How to Be Single. That is my favourite movie to watch when I feel like down about being single, which I mean we'll talk about later. Because I mean sometimes it's really easy. I mean especially around like Valentine's.
Did you say a book or
no? It's a movie as well.
Have you seen the book? I think I saw.
Is there a book of How to Be Single?
I think there's a book.
I should read it.
I saw it in Waterstones last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll actually read it because it is one of my favourite movies, especially the current time. Because I think like with things like Valentine's around, it makes you reflect a lot more on your love life, and it's so easy to get down about not having that sorted.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm going off on a tangent here, but I was even talking to my friend the other day about how like being in your 20s is quite a difficult time, because it's like, I think where I'm at now and where you're at, it's like a lot of things are checked for us, like a lot of things are sorted out, like in terms of like graduate job, degree, career, like all the great things that you want when you're a child are sorted, but there's always like something kind of missing when the love life is not checked. I don't know if you ever feel like that. Do you feel like that sometimes?
I don't think so, but
yeah.
I told you about how I was in a Uber drive. Like I was in a drive. Bro, what is going on today? I was in.
Wait. Take a few seconds.
Nah. Okay. I was in a car with my Uber driver, and he was talking about how he's been single. Like, we're probably age mates, or he's like 2 years older than me. I'm 23. I'm 23. Yeah. He was like 25, and he was talking about how like, oh, he's been single for like a year and a half, and like he was saying like, do you know, he feels lonelier, like he feels like a part of his life is missing because he'd rather do things with someone. And he was like to me, would you not feel this way? And I was like, honestly, no, but it's because I have a strong belief that like there's a time for everything. So, and I also said to him, I enjoy my own company. So I feel like if he was fully satisfied with himself, like he wouldn't seek so much the comfort of someone else, like to be able to enjoy something. Like that was where he was coming from. Like he can't enjoy things because it's like it's not with, and it's not even his ex-girlfriend that he was talking about. He just means like with someone there. Whereas for me, it's like anything I can do with someone else, I can do with myself. But obviously, it's lovely to have that companionship. You know? But I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying.
I think the way you are, like the way you think and you approach love and relationships is how I want to be, and I think how most people want to be, but usually there's a disconnect between what you're saying, because what you're saying is 100% correct, and I feel like everybody knows like that's the case. Like relationship, you said this to me before, like off camera, a relationship should be a bonus. Like you want to love yourself and be happy in yourself, your own company and everything first, to the point where you just look at a relationship as a bonus, not a missing piece, essentially.
Because then I think that's where problems arise. Because it's like you can't function without someone else.
I would be interested in doing a survey. I actually want to know where people stand on this. Like if people more so lean towards like my viewpoint and your Uber drivers, where it's like you feel like not having your love life sorted is a missing piece, or if they feel fulfilled enough and where it's just like a bonus and an addition.
We'll put a poll either on Spotify or we'll put a poll on Instagram.
But can people actually be honest though, please? Because I feel like what you're saying, like praises mentality, yes, that's how you should be, how we want to be, but can people actually just be honest with yourself?
No, that's true.
Do the poll? Please. Honesty.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
But also one thing that I'm not gonna I'm saying with what you've said, it is also very true, because I think I was saying this, I don't know who I was saying it to, but I went to Paris like 2 years in a row, and each time it's like it's just such a city full of love.
I know, you're single.
Guys. But yeah, I do get what you're saying, especially if it's in your face.
Exactly,
you know?
Which it is at this time of year. I think, anyway, that really fits really, really nicely into our next topic, isn't it, about self-love and stuff. But just to wrap up what I was saying, watch How to Be Single if you ever feel down about being alone and stuff, because it's the only romance film I've seen where she's actually ends up being single at the end of the movie, and it just empowers you to actually be single and experience things by yourself, like traveling or whatever. But she also just goes through the whole process of self-love in the movie and like heartbreak and everything. So I really like it, and it's got good music as well.
And that is our vibe of the week.
So
let us know yours if you're watching or whatever you're listening to.
Let us know your favourite romance movies. I'm interested.
I need some
recommendations. Like if a movie hasn't got romance in it, I'm not watching it.
Really?
Yeah, I refuse to watch it. Like even Marvel, I love Marvel. They all have romance. There's all elements of romance.
I don't watch
like
sci-fi. That's what I don't watch. Everything else you can give it to me. I don't watch sci-fi or Greek mythology. No offense.
To be fair, I like sci-fi and I like horror and everything, but it's just like my favourite is something that's got a bit of romance in it. Okay, shall we get on to our first topic of the day? unhealthy comparisons. So I wanted us to talk about those times where you compare and measure yourself against others, which can lead to those feelings of unworthiness. So firstly, my first question is just, have you experienced that praise? Like, have you ever compared yourself against others, whether that be social media couples that you see online on TikTok, everything, or couples that you see in real life or know in real life?
Are we talking solely on couples or just general comparison?
I think like let's focus it on relationships.
Oh, then no.
You've not.
But I said this to you, the reason why, and I think my issue or my personal problem, which is why I sort of never have, like, not never, but it's unlikely for me to have these thoughts, is because I always think, I said this, like, what I just know, and it's based on my life, it's based on my friend's life, it's based on my people I know. Like, I just know whatever I'm seeing online,
it's not real,
is never ever like the full story or 100% of something.
I think that's an important reminder. I'm not gonna lie.
And I think that's why, like, unhealthy comparisons it's so easy to fall down into that slope where you see like a couple online and you're like, oh, like, life is so oh my god, I didn't tell you about this. Some of our favorite influencers or couples that we see online, like, it's very obvious, not even just about them, but any couple, any relationship, it's not going to be smooth sailing. You're only ever going to show the best parts online, which makes sense. Like, why would you post yourself arguing online? It just doesn't make sense, you know? Why would you? The reason why I don't truly have severe or prominent thoughts of unhealthy comparisons to other couples or relationships is because I do feel like every relationship is very different, and it would be very silly of me to compare mine. I say mine,
like your love life,
anyone's love life, to someone else's, because
you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Like, you just don't. To be honest,
do you feel like you have?
But what I was just going to say quickly is, to be honest, I feel like I've kind of learned that through so many different areas in my life as well, because I think, like, growing up as well, like, in a lower class background and just like experiencing poverty and whatnot, like, it was so easy to compare myself to other people's families, especially oh my god, at Christmas time when people would post all their hauls and I'm just sat here like with nothing. And it's just like, times like that is so easy, or like when people were doing their family holidays and everything. But like, something I learned, and I feel like my dad taught me this early on, is never to actually compare though, because you don't actually know what people are going through. And I'm not gonna lie, money doesn't solve everything. Like, some of the happiest people I know in the world do not have money, and like, it's easy to look at a family that looks like they've got it all together and to like envy that and want that for yourself, but you just don't know what's behind closed doors.
And even you saying that reminds me of what Rory said on one of our previous episodes, where he went to Palestine and he just saw people living such pure lives and having such pure happiness, and it made him reflect on how, like, when he got back, how different life is here.
So true.
And just made him actually deep down think, what like brings me true happiness. What brings you
true happiness? I feel like LSE taught me that as well, to be fair, because like when I went to LSE, I feel like that was a time period where I met a lot of different like types of people, and people that came from quite rich families and everything, and was exposed to that. Like, but do you know what I mean though? Like, some people's parents are doing crazy things to make their money. Like, you just don't know. So like, I feel, anyway, same applies to relationships as well.
I think that awareness that we have of knowing that not everyone, like, what you see isn't the true reality or honesty of a couple, a relationship, a marriage, is what most people should adopt. So even if it's currently where you do find yourself having these comparisons with other relationships, I don't know, it just wouldn't, like, why?
But to be honest, I see why though, because it's like, you log onto Instagram, especially nowadays, you log onto Instagram, everybody's getting flipping engaged.
It's normal to happen. I'm saying this to you.
Everybody's engaged.
On my feed.
Everyone.
I just saw ring.
Pack it in, guys. Pack it in. Like, did they all have a calendar? Like, did they sync their engagements? Like, every day. Like, it was, who was it first? Tennessee, Danny Aarons, Courtney and Renee from To My.
Both of them, true. That one was cute though.
Yeah, that was
because
really
it was. I feel like you sent it to me first, and then in the space of like maybe a month.
Yeah.
I was like, guys,
obviously George. Who else? Like, I know there's been more as well. Like, every day I log on, people are getting engaged. And I feel like it would be easy in that sense to, like, look at it and compare. I think especially if you're, like, mid-20s as well, like, you're getting at a certain age point where you feel like there's pressure to be in that position where you've got your love life sorted. And I mean, that's something that we're going to speak about in more depth in another episode, but it's like that myth of, like, you're behind. And, like, I mean, even Rory said this as well, like, there's a timeline imposed upon us, and it's like mentally you feel like, oh, by the time I'm 26, 27, I need to have my love life in check, I need to be engaged, I need to have certain things sorted, when everybody's timeline is different. And I think one attitude that you have that's really great is just knowing and trusting and believing and having faith that what is for you and will happen in the right timing.
Because there's nothing else you can do unless, I feel like you put yourself in such a detrimental, bad position if you force something to happen even before it's time. Because imagine you get something so amazing, but because you haven't built yourself up enough to manage it or deal with it or be able to sustain that,
100%.
it just goes.
I mean, that's something that I figured out recently. So what I'm realizing now is that, like, I'm on my journey of working on myself. Like, Slay. 2025 is the year I am working on myself.
Slay.
Like, I'm getting my money up, I'm traveling, like, starting my job. Like, there's actually so much stuff I'm looking forward to in terms of my own self-development that has nothing to do with a relationship.
I'm sorry, you saying that. I don't know why I was thinking about this. I think it was yesterday. Either you've said it on another episode or you've said it before, where, like, when you're alone or when you're single or when you're just you, one thing I will say is, like, you came into this world alone, you can survive, like, you're good, that's one. But the other thing is, like, now's the time where you have no responsibilities, like, you have no kids. And I remember seeing a tweet, like, imagine you come home from a long day of work and you have a child say, "Mummy, I'm hungry," after you're about to have a mental breakdown.
Feed myself. I barely feed myself.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think
it's so true.
A really good thing you should try and do is just embrace
your seasons.
Season. That's the one thing I'll actually say I'm really good at.
Yeah, like, embrace that time of being alone, and like how I just said, this year for me is a self-development year. Like, just embrace when you have moments like that, because there is very few of them. Like, by the time we all get old and we're our older selves and we're hitting retirement age, you'll look back on your life and you'll realise you didn't really have that many years to yourself. Because by the time children starts coming into it, grandchildren, maybe, you know, even like family members becoming ill and you know, God forbid, but it's all a part of life, you know what I mean, taking on different responsibilities and taking care of your family. Like, there's so many different stages and chapters through life that by the time you look back, there's very few moments where you're fully by yourself, not tied down to a pet, a husband, a boyfriend, a wife.
Pet, that's very true.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's very few of those moments. And I think it is, like, it's easy to say this and to sit here and advise you guys.
So true.
On the flip side of it, I have experienced firsthand what it's like to be in a long-term relationship and to feel like a part of your identity and yourself is gone, because you do become fused with that person, and it is really easy to, like, blur your identity and forget who you were before then.
I feel like any decision you make, you're not just thinking about yourself, you always have to factor into, what does this person think, or how will they perceive this, or, like, you're just not being your truest self because of factoring that person into things, which is why I say, like, you should always try your best to be fully formed before you add that bonus. And
that is facts, I'm not gonna lie, because you're so right, because I'm not gonna lie. I do that a lot with you. I'm not gonna lie, like, you can want a relationship all you want, and then imagine the right person comes around and you're just not ready, and you've not worked on yourself enough, and then
you've just come out of something, and
and, like, your sort of issues that you've not dealt with, your personal issues you've not dealt with in yourself, like insecurities, self-doubt, certain things creep up into your relationship and cause problems. Like, there's actually a lot of areas I'm working on in myself before I even want to think about entering another relationship. Like, even just, like, like in relationships I have a lot of trust issues. Like I'm not a very trusting person, and I think it's just because like I've witnessed a lot in terms of like my parents and like their shambolic love lives. But then also like with friendships, I've had loads of friends that have let me down, and it's made me like more hesitant to trust people.
Very much.
Yeah, like I know you've had like your fair share of experiences with crazy friends as well. It's not even always relationships that make you distrusting.
No, that's true.
But I admire you though a lot, Praise. I admire
too.
your self-confidence.
Thank you.
And worth for yourself.
I admire your ability to, like I always say, it's your perseverance. I feel like your drive will take you so far.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I see it all the time.
I appreciate that. And I think one good thing about both of us is just self-reflection. And I think like that's what I'd say to anybody listening right now, is it's okay to like have these, I don't even want to call them flaws because they're not flaws, but it's okay to have like those moments where you compare yourself to a social media couple, or you feel like you're behind because you've not got your love life sorted out or whatever.
It's so normal.
It's so normal, and we all have that, and that's what this podcast is about. I'm not gonna lie, just like speaking on those like true authentic human experiences that a lot of people don't speak about because everything online is so glamorized.
Well, you like, even to say like comparison, fair enough, we can say like, oh no, we haven't compared this aspect, but I'm sure there's so many other aspects of my life where I have compared myself to people. So it's like comparison is a very normal part of life. It's just more so what you do with that comparison which can make it either healthy or unhealthy.
How do you think that's applied to your own life? Like what areas do you think you've compared with, and then how do you, because I like what you just said there, how do you make it into like healthy comparison, like maybe to the point where you're looking at things in a more positive way and you're aspiring to something rather than like preying on its downfall and wishing you had that right now? Like what tips would you give around that?
Primarily the way I've experienced it in my life was probably to do with like applying for training contracts or career opportunities essentially, or jobs. And like I said, I always believe that what's meant for you will be for you. However, and I go by this now, where like I think this episode is out, where Joe said in one of our episodes, you need to put yourself in the position for opportunities. Like you need to expose yourself in order to obtain these opportunities and stuff. But I got to a point in university where like everyone was either getting training contracts or vacation schemes, and it was just like, what are they doing that I'm not doing?
You're not.
Or like, where am I going wrong? And it could either get, I'm so sure, guys, I nearly gave up. Like I really nearly gave up at the second year of university, where I was like, if I don't get this, like I had a couple more interviews for different firms, and I was like, if I don't get anything, I'm not doing this again till I leave university. So I was like, I'm not applying for jobs, like I'm not doing that again. And that for me would have been unhealthy. Like that for me would have been like giving up, because of all these comparisons I was having between other people and myself. However, because I didn't do that, so instead of like giving into that, it's giving into the it's not even weakness, it's giving into those negative thoughts that come with comparison. I just thought, I have worked so hard at this, and even my skills in applying for things have completely changed from the beginning to now. And even when I was looking at it practically, like if you're ever confused and you can't understand, like try and think about things practically. I was saying that when I first started, I wouldn't even get through the first stage of things. Now I'm here at like the final stage of most of these firms, most of these applications. So I'm doing something right. And funny enough, it was literally after I told myself, if I don't get this, I'm giving up, my friend had sent me like, apply for this, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. And that's where my job is now. Yeah,
I think that's such a good example as well, because I feel like as much as I love LinkedIn, I know you're not active on LinkedIn yet.
But that's okay. Another honest truth, it's probably because of comparison. Because I'm like, what is all of this? But it's like, I know I could probably say stuff, but I personally don't want to. But it would make me keep questioning, like, oh, am I doing this? Am I not?
I think like what you're saying is a good point, because it just shows the importance of shifting your mindset. And I think I think because I've been fortunate to have been blessed with having a lot of opportunities, careers is never been an aspect where I've made unhealthy comparisons. I think I've made a lot of healthy comparisons in that area, and that's why I've never found something like LinkedIn daunting, because every time I log onto LinkedIn, I'm genuinely sitting smiling because I'm genuinely like loving what I'm reading. Like I find it like really motivating when I log on LinkedIn and see that one of my friends or someone that I know in my connections has just founded a new business or something. Like for me, I have healthy comparison to that where I'm like, that is incredible. Or I see like someone's just won a flipping Diana Award. Like I saw that recently. Someone from LSE won Diana Award. Like to me, that's just like, wow, that's amazing. Like I would love to have that for myself in the future if that's what's meant to be.
Yeah.
And I just find it like encouraging. So I think like, it's just important to like recognize when you're making unhealthy comparisons and change it and try and make it healthy and take motivation from things.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're talking about in careers, obviously it can apply to relationships as well. Like you can aspire to, you know, be in that position or whatever, 100%. Or to have your own family unit or whatever, if that's the case, if you're looking at like a family YouTube channel. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about for the next little portion is about pressure on women. Like, I think what we're talking about in terms of comparison and everything, I feel like specifically there's a lot of pressure on women to be in relationships. Like, we obviously started off this episode by saying that we have a lot of things in check, I guess, in terms of our own personal expectations on ourselves, such as like the career, the degree. But it's like, for women specifically, there's always pressure to have that relationship box ticked. And like, even I started off this episode singing as a joke, Valentine's is coming, where's your boyfriend? But like, even something like that was sung every single day in secondary school. And it's like, that is specifically aimed at women as well. Like, there's just even like so many celebrity interviews that you see online, the first thing they'll ask these celebrities is, where's your man? What's your man doing? What's your love life saying? Like, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean?
I think with like, you often don't think a woman's life is complete without a man, but a man's life can be completely fine without a woman.
Oh, say that again. Say that again. Tell them. That is so true.
Would you like to repeat it?
That's so true though, because I mean, we were talking about this off camera as well, but it's like, for men, it's like, sometimes I think the idea of being single as a man is very like idolized and romanticized.
But it's completely fine.
Yeah, like,
whereas if it's a woman, you think, oh, she's a haggard old
spinster. She's got 10 cats.
Exactly, lonely one. What a poor life it must be if she's living alone in a penthouse in Canary Wharf.
Exactly.
Like, there's a big problem with that.
There's such a big problem. Even look at Bridget Jones as well. Like,
I've never watched that.
Have you not? I love Bridget Jones, but like the whole film is about her describing herself as a spinster, like a depressed old hag who she hasn't got a boyfriend until the end when she's got somebody, and then now she's happy. I do actually love Bridget Jones, so don't hate on Bridget Jones, and the new one's coming out soon, so I'm excited. But it's just an example which all these romance movies sort of reiterate and hammer the idea that being a single woman means that you failed in life.
Yeah.
Whereas being a single man, you're living this bachelor cool lifestyle.
Or your life is incomplete as a woman until a man or partner comes in to fill that space or spot.
We need to change this narrative. Like,
yeah,
all of us as a collective, as a society, that narrative needs to be changed. That's it
comes with, I don't know, I just feel like it's really difficult, because even I know in some cultures or communities it's so wrong for women to move out. Like, it's so wrong for women to move out before marriage. It's like, oh my gosh, you're not moving into your husband's home or partner's home, which for me is like my worst nightmare is moving straight in with someone after living at my family home. Like, genuinely, I just feel like I need to live alone or even with friends for a period of time in my life before I make such a commitment to that. It's a way of life. That's my personal opinion. Obviously everyone's very different on this, and religion, culture, family traditions, lifestyle plays a major role, but that also plays into the whole discussion of like women's lives being incomplete. You're still smiling, so I know you have something to say.
No, it's just I'm thinking about what you said. Are you considering moving out?
Eventually, but it has to happen. Like, it has to.
If me and you live together, though, that would be literally content house.
Yeah, actually would, because no more studio. We can do
Yeah,
it
literally. Oh, but that would actually be really fun.
No, fair. Back to discussion.
That's giving me something to be excited about. Anyways, how do you think that narrative can be changed and that can be something that's overcome? I think a lot of celebrities are doing a good job at it. Like, for example, there's a lot of interview responses that I've seen to questions where they'll ask them only about their love life or about men that are pretty like girl boss, if that makes sense. Like, I remember Rihanna's one that went quite viral where she was like, they asked her, oh, what are you looking for in a man? And she said, first off, I'm not looking for a man. How about that? Or like, let's start there. Like,
no, I think I saw that. Yeah.
Like, I think everyone's a bit sick and tired of it now. Do you know what I mean?
I think it can be that if that's something that people look to. I think for me the most impact, or where it makes the most impact, is personal experiences or like people I know.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm not quite impressionable, I will say that. So like a celebrity doing something for me is like, I don't know, it's like we have such very different lives that you're put in the limelight.
Yeah, true.
So, or you've worked there, not taking any credit away.
Yeah.
But because of that, it's like I can't relate, but it's like there's a disconnect for me. However, when I have like my mum telling me certain things, I'm like, yeah, like you're right. So like when she says, for example, that like I don't need to rely on anyone else.
Oh, does she say that to you?
Yeah, like even when I was in school, like I work hard for myself, and I should be. I think that's where the self-confidence came from. Like I don't need to rely on other people to get other things done, or same way I wouldn't really need to rely on a man to live my life.
Yeah.
And so that's where A comes from. But I guess if my mum hadn't told me that, I would have grown up not knowing that.
Yeah.
So, but that's because that's the type of person I would personally listen to. So I think it comes with having like role models who.
Yeah, like personal role models.
And also seeing what we do see online, like women living their lives.
I know.
I call it a canary wolf. Canary wolf in a flat you pay for by yourself and like purely enjoying that. I feel like, but people just see that as so lonely, or like there's a major problem.
I know it's.
I think it's difficult. I think because it comes also a lot down to patriarchy. You know, so a lot of things will take a long time to unlearn as a society, because it's so entrenched in who we are as a society, even from like the smallest of things.
Yeah. Well, I was literally, whilst you were talking, that's literally what sprung to my mind when I was thinking about the issue, is just the fact of like, we are actually really privileged to be sat here. Like, wow, like we have come so far, and there's obviously still so much further to go in terms of that piece of like the patriarchy and feminism, because even the fact that we're actually sat here like with our own podcast, like in university building, like these buildings were reserved specifically for men, like, and it's not even that long ago as well, do you know what I mean? Like women could only access education, careers, their own bank account, like their own properties, stuff like that, very, very recently. So I think, like you said, that is ingrained and entrenched into society and the way we think.
We're also very lucky to just be in the UK.
Yeah, we are.
Because like
that's still the case across the world.
Across the world.
Yeah.
This isn't the norm.
No,
how we live as women in the UK isn't the norm, and it's not to say it's great, but we can recognise the privilege that we have for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting conversation. The next thing I just wanted to ask you about, especially because I've already like put it out there that I admire you in terms of the way that you are with yourself, in terms of your self-love, self-confidence. What tips, like what practical tips would you give to our listeners in terms of being on that journey of self-love and how to get to a point where you really do love yourself and your own company?
Solo date days.
Yeah.
I always say this. I feel like I've said this on so many episodes, but I think solo date days helps you realize what you actually like as a person. Because you're just alone, and it gives you so much time to think about what you want. Because on my last solo date day, it made me realize, like, guys, I love people and I love people's company. So I have no problem being around people. Like, that was what I realized. It's like, I'm happy alone, like I'm fine, but I prefer being with people. Like that's what my last solo date day taught me. But I think just doing things which you traditionally do, because it's so common for us as people to have to go out with someone else. Like, if you want to go to see an exhibition, you're like, which friend will come to do this?
So
if you want to watch a movie, which sibling or which friend or which someone you know will come, like, do you want to see this? It's always waiting on other people to do something that you just want to do.
You've always wanted to do.
Exactly. So it's like, why are you holding yourself back, or why are you holding your truth back in what you want to do? So I think that was the biggest thing for me when it came to self-love.
I second that as well, actually, and I think that's even something that I've been doing for a while without realizing, but it's also something that I've become more aware of since, like, getting closer with you, and that I've been doing more actively as well, is solo dates. I think they're really important. Even your brother does them as well. I saw it on his TikTok, and I thought that was really nice as well, because I think, like, this conversation definitely applies to men too, because I feel like for men it's more like shunned upon to speak about their emotions and feelings. Like, men do not speak about self-love, like those conversations.
My brother and I did our solo date day on the same day, actually.
Did you?
It was so funny, because I was
really
like,
cute.
He texted me the day before. He's like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm planning my solo date day. And he said, I'm doing the same. Like,
you do it like
doing it
periodically or sporadically?
Mostly sporadically. So the reason why I did my last one was because the candle making class, I had to do it that day because the voucher was expiring. It was so good. It was so good. But I'm gonna post a TikTok about it, so it should be out already.
Did we have a solo date the same day?
No, I think you went the next day. Or 2 days after to go to the cinema. Yeah. We went to the cinema.
I did. So that's what I was just going to say. That's something that I've been doing for a long time, is going to the cinema by myself. I mean, you can probably tell from all my vibes of the week, I love movies. Like, I've seen all the classics, all the new, everything that comes out brand new. Like, I'll have seen it already, like, the day it comes out. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you, to be honest. But I just love movies and series. And so sometimes I actually prefer going to the cinema on my own than with people. And I remember going on TikTok and seeing a conversation around this, and a lot of people said that they hate the idea of, like, going to the cinema or a meal by themselves and stuff. But I think it's just, like, important to actually spend time with yourself, and it's just, like, really refreshing. Like, do you know what as well? I feel like when I have solo dates, like going to the cinema and whatever by myself, I feel like this sounds really weird, but, like, I observe humanity a bit more. Do you do that? Like, it's like I'm almost in a movie. Like, I'll have my headphones on, listen to, like,
a good soundtrack, guys.
Some good, like, indie music, and I'm just, like, looking, like, people watching. And it's so, like, therapeutic. It
is. I think what I enjoy the most is, like, not having to talk to anyone. I'm not joking. Sometimes, but that's why I'm grateful. Like, a lot of my friends are people where I can just sit down with you in silence. And we're just in each other's company. But with the solo date days, it's literally me in my head, and I don't have to speak to anyone. And that's very rare for me. I feel like a lot of the things we do, like, look at us, we're talking now, meetings, always talking to people. I love my family, but always talking to family. It's a lot, and sometimes it's just, I need silence.
Do you talk to yourself?
Oh, I talk to myself.
Yeah, I do.
But also, you know, that's a sign of
Don't say it, don't diagnose me. Don't diagnose me, not today.
Not a good thing. But solo date days, journaling, we've said countless of times. So if you haven't tried it by now, like, come on, guys.
Try it. Skincare is a good one. I think, like, find it kind of fits into the solo dates, but not necessarily.
Lighting a candle.
Lighting candles, face masks, baths.
Also, I feel like things that you can do to improve yourself also has improved my self-love for myself. So, like,
like
hockey,
health things.
like health.
Yeah,
so like
true.
sports,
Yoga.
Yeah,
Start going to
exactly. Like
yoga.
you know, and it makes you like you can see how far you can push yourself when you do these things.
Yeah.
And that's you and yourself. Like it's you and your body. Like I know sometimes in hockey, I've been like, no, praise, like you can keep going. Even when I feel like I'm about to pass out. But
I love that
that's
you do hockey.
you telling yourself,
Yeah.
that's you pushing yourself.
yourself.
And you can see how far you go through like your mentality, your mindset with yourself. So I guess that's another thing.
Health is wealth, man.
Yeah.
Health is wealth. I didn't actually catch up with you about the yoga. So I actually keep like forgetting the camera is here today. But no, the yoga was so good, and I feel like I realised it's something that I want to do more often. Like at least like once every 2 weeks or something, go to a yoga class.
Yeah.
I think it was really good for me in terms of like my anxiety is what I realised, because I feel like with yoga, like depending obviously on the type of yoga, it's not like that physically demanding compared to things like Pilates, but it was nice because it was very meditative and allowing me to like, I felt way more balanced when I left and just relaxed. And I feel like that's important, especially for us as well. Like you're constantly on the go. Like there's not actually time to like just like, I don't know, just like have a blank mind.
Yeah.
And that was even something the yoga instructor was saying when I was in the class. She was like, don't let your minds wander yet. I don't want you to start like planning what you're doing next and everything. Be present and just be in this room. And when she said that, I was like, wow, that's actually so crazy, because without even realizing, my mind is always thinking a million things. Like even now, like I'm actually quite present in what we're doing right now, but you might be sitting here thinking about, oh, what am I going to do when I go home? Like what work do I need to do when I go home? And it's important to like actually just be present and to be balanced as well.
I'd say I actually struggle with that. That's something I'm not the best at. I cannot sit still. Like there's no time of the day where I'm not doing something. And also meditating, I can't say I'm not fond of it, but I don't think I'm very great at it. Like I can't.
Come to a yoga class with me.
I'll come. I'll actually come. But like when they tell me to like leave all my thoughts, girl, where are they going? They're right here, and they're running. Oh,
you could actually benefit from it then. I'm actually going to force you to
I'll
come
try.
with me.
But I will say I did go to like one hit yoga class.
Oh no, that's too intense,
yoga, guys. I thought it was with class. I'm not joking.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm using.
I swear I couldn't go back. Like I texted my dad. I said, don't leave. Like I'm coming, because Alicia, I got in and the room was like a sauna, and they're all doing hit yoga in the sauna. I'm like, guys, hello. Like
hello. And on that note, ClassPass, if you want to sponsor us, emails in the description box. Email us. You know where to hit us up. Do you know, go over to the dilemma, which actually fits well. So we're going to go over to our dilemma segment now, where we speak through you guys' problems that you send us, and Praise, as always, has found some dilemmas for us to talk through. But it fits into the point of what I was saying about the emails, that sometimes I'll be checking that inbox, I'm refreshing, there's nothing there. Remember, you can send us your dilemmas to contact@myyoungerself.co.uk.
It will be in the description box or down below, but thank you, Alicia.
Yes.
So now I'm gonna take over by reading out these two. I've got two dilemmas for us today. Alicia hasn't seen these, so you'll get her fresh opinions and thoughts, and I barely read them, but I know briefly what they're about. Okay.
I'm excited.
So, hi, I'm 20 and a girl, and my boyfriend is 21. We've been together for 2 years. We don't have many arguments where we are yelling at each other, but we have a few disagreements where we usually just try to talk things out. The issue is, whenever I try to explain why I disagree with him, he says I make him feel stupid. Explaining myself, I'll usually bring up an article or statistics. For example, one of our recent disagreements was that he told me the cure for cancer has been found, but the government keeps assassinating the researchers. I showed him an article that said there are about 200 different types of cancers. So, guys, I'm so sorry. Let me be clear, I'm not laughing at this dilemma. It's the reaction. So, it's hard to make a cure. And afterwards, he told me that I had made him feel stupid. I don't know if this is because of my tone. When I ask how I make him feel stupid, the answer I get is, you just do. I'm just wondering for any tips to explain myself better without making him feel stupid.
My immediate reaction, and I just have to be honest, and my authentic self, as we spoke about today, is I actually can't stand people like her. Like, I hate it. I hate it. And that's coming from quite a nerd and a bit of a know-it-all. Like, I can't stand people that are always, like, correcting people. Like, I understand disagreeing, because I disagree with people probably every single day. But, like, people that actually, like, pull up statistics and everything and get so passionate and angry. And it's like, you need a statistic to back up what you're saying.
But she didn't say she was angry. I think that's just how she gets her stuff across. Like, that's how she gets her stuff across.
I think in that example, fair enough, because that example is quite a conspiracy theory in terms of cancer cure. But let's say, it's just annoying me thinking about it, because I've been in situations like this. Like, let's say I say something like, black people are still behind in the workplace, behind their white counterparts. And I'm talking to someone and they're like, do you have a statistic for that? Do you have a... And they're pulling up articles. Like, just pack it in sometimes. Seriously. Like, come on. Like, this is your relationship partner. Why are you fact checking? Sorry, maybe my traumas are coming out. I don't know.
You know, I'm trying to see it from, like,
do you get
both,
what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, and I can see how much it annoys or angers you. But I'm trying to say, like, I do feel like I can understand both sides, where, like, if someone's constantly being like, actually, this says this, so you're wrong, that can come across. Like, I get how that would come across. Like, why would anyone want to have a conversation with you if everything they're saying is you're fact checking me? You pull up a story, a statistic
if
to
you
say
said something,
no, that's not correct.
That's a bit rude. Don't you think that's a little bit rude though? Like, it's a tiny bit rude.
However, by the same token, I also do feel like everything's about how you say it. Like, sometimes it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. So if it can come across a bit patronising if you're being like, well, this says this, so you're wrong. So I see the problem in that. I guess in terms of her questioning, like, any tips, it would probably just, like, mind your tone. If the tone is the problem. If it isn't, then you can't just say you just do, like, that's why you make me feel dumb. Like, no. I need a bit more.
Yeah, because I think as well, like, obviously, like I said, there's a right way to disagree with people. Like, I'm quite a headstrong person. I disagree with a lot of my friends. Like, we have healthy debates.
But you know one thing I can't stand? Headstrong and wrong. I'll always say this.
Like...
That is what I hate. Like, that is where I'm out. Like, stop talking to me. Honestly. Headstrong and wrong. Alicia, I don't think
I'm headstrong and right, baby. No, I'm joking. Like, I'm headstrong, but I'm willing to change my opinion. Like, a lot of my friends have changed my opinions on a lot of different things. Because I might think a certain way because of, like, how I was raised and certain factors. And, like, someone will give you a different perspective, and it's important to adjust that. But in terms of... Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say in terms of this girl's situation. What I was going to say is, I think communication is very important in relationships, and, like, I think the first step would be to sit down with him and have a conversation about why he feels like that, and if he then, you know, like, just make it an open and safe space to actually understand why that's the cause. Because then if he tells you it's his tone, you know that's something you can fix. But if he doesn't tell you it's his tone, it could actually be coming from his own insecurities. Because, like, you know, for example, if you're dating someone where you guys are on, like, different, levels of intelligence or something, it might make one person feel insecure because they're internalizing that, and then he might feel dumb just
that anytime you even say something, and like, even if it's not directly aimed at him, it might be a thing where, because of what he already thinks about himself, it's like, what's it called? Deflected? Onto you. But
I do think, like, it's not to say that a relationship can't work. I don't think that is that bad of a dilemma. I think it's good that you're even thinking about it, because it shows you're, like, aware of the problem and you want to address it. And
there was something else I wanted to say. I feel like also there's nothing wrong in... What do you think? It's a question to you. It's this whole thing where people just say, that's just how I am. Like, what's your opinion on that? Because I personally think I understand saying, this is just how I am. Like, that's just how I am. But I feel like sometimes people say it to the point where it absolves them from all responsibilities.
To improve.
Yeah, to improve yourself as a person. Whereas, like, it can happen in relationships or friendships. Like, if your friend is telling you, like, how you speak to them makes them feel small.
Yeah.
And it actually might be something that you're doing, and you just say, oh, that's just how I am. Like, that's just me. And if you don't like it, goodbye. Then...
I don't know, because, like, sometimes with some things, I get it.
Yeah.
Like... It isn't always the right thing to do. I think it's boiling down to that headstrong and wrong thing. It's like, usually when people say that, it's because you know there's something wrong in your behaviour and you're trying to justify it as just being a part of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, sometimes I get it because we're not perfect, though. Like, we all have flaws and we all will have flaws that you are aware of and that you try to change and you can't change, if that makes sense. Like, nobody is walking around on this planet as a perfect human being. So, like, I get it to an extent. And I think one of the reasons I get it is because it actually used to be something that I would say in a relationship setting, not in a friendship setting, is with my trust issues, because that is just, sometimes it feels like my distrusting nature that's ingrained into me, and sometimes it feels like that's not something that's going to change. Like, it's something I'm aware of, but I will never ever run open arms like into a relationship. I will never, and it will always take me a longer time to break down certain walls and to release my guard, because I've witnessed far too much in my family and I've witnessed too much hurt and everything to just be so trusting as some people. But it's bad though, because I can't just say, oh, that's just the way I am, and then now every single thing you're doing I'm like, who's that, what are you doing, where are you going, blah, blah, blah. Because that's not your problem. You've not done anything to me to make me distrust you. So it's not your problem. So it's not fair that you kind of have to deal with that problem. But I do think, like I said, everybody has their own, like, sort of emotional baggage and emotional problems, and I don't know.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at another peeve of mine is like someone who would like, imagine you're having a disagreement with someone and they like spell check you.
Oh yeah, that's just grow up. Yeah, I agree. Because I'm sometimes not the most articulate person. I just say, like, things how it is in my mind and just hope it makes sense. But it's like, you know what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's not like, not
don't start, like, correcting my vocabulary, like,
but
you know what I'm trying to say.
Any final things for her?
Not really. I think, like, it's just
have a conversation, talk it out, and try and see where each other's coming from, and if there's anything that you can do to make him feel better and he can do to make himself and you feel better. Yeah. Okay. Now this one hits a little too close to home. Ooh. But so I have a couple of friends that usually take several days or more to respond to texts or phone calls. I talked to one of them about it and he said that it's something that he's trying to work on, but it's still tough when I can't seem to contact them for days at a time. They all say we're really close, and when we do talk, we seem to have a great time. But I also know that they sometimes coordinate their own things on their own while I'm still waiting for a reply. I'm trying to be understanding that they may be busy or whatnot, but I feel like if our friendship means as much to them as they say, then we should be able to communicate easier than this.
That's wrong.
Who?
The friends. That's fake friendship. That's quite a telling sign of fake friendship. Until you said they plan stuff on, like, by themselves, like they plan stuff to do without her, and like, is it a girl that's talking?
Yeah.
They plan stuff to do without her and disclude her and whatever. Is disclude the right word?
Yeah.
Exclude her. I was gonna literally say I think that's kind of fine, because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I take a long time to reply, but
I'm queen.
Well, actually not to me. I can't say that. You reply to me every second.
But I am culpable, and it's something I've been working on for the past couple of years, guys. We're still making progress, but I know.
I'm always like, I'm not really a big texter, and all of my friends know this. Like, even so, my closest friend Kiva, she even knows this. Like, I reply quite blunt on text because I just hate texting. So she might send me something, and I'll just probably write like, okay.
If you call me, that's my worst nightmare. It's my worst
really?
nightmare. It gives me so much anxiety.
I'm a calling person.
What do you want?
Like, you know, like, I don't know if this is normal, but like, if I get a phone call from a friend or anybody, even if I'm like on the toilet taking a dump, like, I'll answer the phone call.
I don't
like I'll answer at any time. I'll pause my movie, I will answer, because it could actually be an emergency.
I only do that for my family.
I do it for everyone.
My dad and mum will always get a pickup from me. Same with my brothers. Everyone else, sorry.
If I'm busy, I will say, oh, I'm on the toilet right now, like, call me back in 10 minutes. Something like that.
I can't do it. I don't know. I only do it also, yes, family, but also people who like, why are you calling me? Like, it's so random. So I then think it's an emergency, which is why I'll pick up. Like, for example, with Isha and Dina, we don't do calls, but we text. So if Isha's calling me, it's important. So I'm picking up. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Oh, back to the dilemma.
Back to the dilemma, sorry. My point is if she didn't say that about them excluding her, I would have just basically said what we just said now about people have different communication styles and people are genuinely busy. And some people just don't like to use their phone. They're more like in-person people, which I totally get. But them planning things without you, I'm sorry, I would actually genuinely not talk to them again if that was me. Like, I feel like I've actually had situations like that. I have had situations like that.
I definitely have.
I've had friends, like, looking back, I've had friends that have excluded me, and they'll like, and I'll be like trying to talk to them and arrange something, and the next minute you see they're out with the other girl that's not been talking to you. Like, what is that about? Like, people just have honesty. Like, if you don't like me, that's cool. Like, just say, or just like, I don't know, go about it a different way.
I feel like it's super difficult, and I feel like doing things without other people is like, it's a touchy area. But the reason, like, my perspective on this has changed quite a lot, and it happened when I was leaving sixth form, because like, say you're in a group of people, I guess one thing, and it took me like maybe a year and a bit once a situation happened for me to understand, like, people are allowed to have relationships with other people.
Yeah, of course.
So that's, like, people are allowed to have that, and I think you sort of have to establish what type of relationship it is, because if you are a group, is it the type of group where, you're a group, but like there are also individual people like you can just go out with one-on-one, which in the most instances is the case for me and my friends, because it's like, we're a trio, but like you can still, it just, I don't know, I feel like it's like awkward, really.
I don't have friendship groups.
I think it's,
all of my closest friends are all from different places.
I feel like it's,
I don't think they work.
I feel like it's, no, I do think it does. It depends who, like, the personalities. Like, my friends really know me, and I really know them before. And I'm not going to speak about the actual situation that let me realise, but until something happened with my friends and I, that's when I realised, oh, like, this is the type of friendship it is. And we're still just as close, but it was like dynamics sort of have to change a bit in terms of, like, it just makes sense. Like, I had to come from a place of understanding. So there are some things my friends do which I am not a party to. Like, I just won't. And they know that is not the type of lifestyle.
What specifically? Oh, okay.
Like, I don't smoke, for example, and it's not a part of me. It's not something I will ever do. And they know that. So, like, why would you invite me to something where that's, like, the case? Because it just makes sense. So why would I be upset because I'm not invited to that? Yes, I'm like, thank you so much, my dear. I'm glad we have that understanding. Yeah. Same way, like, some friends have certain lifestyles, even though we're all in the same friendship group, which other people don't do, like drinking or... Like, it's just...
Yeah, I've got friends that don't drink.
Exactly, so it's like...
activities with them.
It just makes sense. But I guess when I'm talking about groups in particular, like, that's another thing I'm talking about. But with your dilemma, I do think the actual problem is the fact that they do... I think you just have to... When mine happened, I asked one of the friends about it. I was like, what's that about? And she was like, she explained, but she was like, it's not really me. Like, it's the other person. And I was like, I see. So there's a problem. But I had no idea. Whereas in your situation, if you ask them, see what they say, and if like nothing changes or you express how you feel and they don't really care, then I think that's a sign for you to know enough that they're not too bothered about your feelings, which is enough for you to know, like, find new friends, you know?
I think it boils down to the advice that you gave me personally with you're gonna have to, you know, like, if it's like friendships that you really value and hold dearly, I think it's important to communicate and address those things. So like, I feel like the theme of this episode is communication is honestly key. Yeah, like, yeah, if you really value those friendships, I think it's important to communicate that you feel excluded and that, you know, you would like to be included in more things, or just to kind of understand why they're not including you in certain things, and if they're aware that they're doing that, and if it's for a particular reason, and just how it makes you feel. But if you feel like it's not worth it, then don't even waste your energy on it, because you will meet so many more people in your life that will be for you, like in terms of friendships. Like I've actually had to let go and burn bridges with a lot of previous friends to allow me to have the healthy female relationships that I have today. And if I didn't shed those previous toxic friendships that I had, I would not be sitting on this couch with you, and I would not have certain like healthy, amazing friendships, because at the end of the day we all have limited energy. Like, think of it like that water bottle. Like, we all have a limited amount of energy that you can pour into people.
Yeah.
And like, friendships are like, they take up your energy, especially
100%.
like best friendships.
And you have to, like, I feel like that's a sacrifice we as people have to make.
Yeah,
like,
you're choosing to put your energy into people. So make sure that the people you put in energy into are the right people for you and are giving you back energy, not sucking your energy out of you.
Just taking it and just running it, because then you're left empty, like an empty water bottle.
No one wants to be an empty water bottle, an empty vessel.
Exactly.
So I think it's important to evaluate that. And the reason I said that it boils down to what Prey said to me in my personal life is because I had a situation quite recently with a friend. I mean, it was a couple of months ago now, where they were also similar to this. They were not replying to the times that I tried to reach out to them. And I'm not a person, like, I'm quite a low maintenance friend because I'm also very busy. Like, when I say reach out, it means like once in a while I'll call and check in on them because I've not heard from them in a while. And they're not answering any of my calls, and they're not returning any of my calls. And it got to the point where I asked them, like, what's up? Like, is there something wrong? Did I say something to you? Because sometimes you might not realise, you know, like, in this situation, a girl might have actually done something you don't actually know, like, because people perceive your actions differently. So it's just like, what's up? Like, did I do something? Blah, 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 because I didn't hear from you around quite a critical point in my life where I would have expected to have heard from you as well, or had a bit of support, and I didn't. And it turns out they just said that they had stuff going on and then kind of just left it there. And I think it's important to communicate, and sometimes just like not every friendship is for you, essentially.
Yeah, and also some friendships are for seasons. Like, yeah,
people come into your life for seasons.
People come, people go. It's the way of life.
It's the way it goes.
What song is that?
I don't know.
I think that's it, you know, guys. I really enjoyed this episode.
I did too.
Yes. After we've done our dilemmas, I had a question for Alicia.
Oh my god.
So, with Valentine's Day coming up, I wanted to ask you, how will you be spending the 14th of February 2025 this year?
That's a great question. I'm going to check my calendar. See if I've actually... 14th of February. Oh, so I will be... Okay, so 14th of February, I'll be at work, guys. I'll be in my new job.
That's so true.
How exciting.
Yeah, that's...
I mean,
crazy.
And also it will be my training week as well. So I won't be on an intense project. There could be a work social, maybe.
Probably.
We'll see. And then in the evening, I will probably watch a rom-com. Love a good rom-com. I was actually going to ask you, Rose, if you wanted to do like a Valentine's type thing. Yeah, because you're flipping busy. Okay, tell the people what you're doing. That's not with me and it's not Valentine's.
It's actually Valentine. So I'm going to Manchester.
Without me.
Yeah, I'm going to Manny to visit my friend Malibu Bay, Marlene. She's got her 15th birthday. No, her birthday's on the actual 15th, but She lives in Manchester. She's thrown a space-themed party. So it's like intergalactic and everyone has to come dressed up. So I'm going to spend like 4 days in Manchester.
Oh, that actually sounds really nice.
It would be nice because I haven't seen her in ages. And I'll see like my school friends as well. So that's how I'm spending
that's nice.
February the 14th, Valentine's. I'll be up in Manny. Manny. But yeah. We hope whatever you guys are doing, you have an amazing day. Also, I know lots of people actually don't celebrate Valentine's Day as a thing in itself. So just make yourself feel extra special today if you are celebrating. If not, make yourself feel even more extra special. And yeah, that's been us from our Valentine's special. We hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I did too, actually. It was a great episode. And if you did enjoy it, please remember to leave us a review on whatever platform you are listening on, and also to subscribe to our YouTube to see the visuals, see our different setup today.
But yeah, for now, it's been your girl Praise.
And it's been Alicia.
Thank you for listening to another episode of To My Younger Self, and we will see you next week with another episode.
Bye guys, happy Valentine's. Bye.
Oh,
love it.